Hello and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today I want to talk with you about the motivation of a solo indie game developer. But first, I would like to thank you for the fact that my channel has now reached over 800 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. I would like to explain to you how difficult I find it to stay motivated on my game project and show you how I deal with it. If you are also sometimes in a motivational hole, this video might be the right one for you. I talk a lot in this video, kind of a little podcast. I do not visualize very much, so feel free to listen to me on a separate browser tab and continue your work on your amazing game. It's not just about creating worlds through lines of code or telling compelling stories, but in the midst of these challenges lies a powerful driving factor that guides this lonely journey. Motivation. And sometimes that motivation crumbles. As a solo developer, you have to have a lot of skills to be able to finish developing the game in the long term. You have to learn Blender so that you have beautiful 3D assets. You have to become a composer so that you have beautiful background music. You also need to learn sound design so that you can create sound effects that fit in the environment and the soundscape. You need to become a designer so that you can create an appealing logo that looks cool and appeals to potential players. You also need to create an intuitive UI with the design to make it easy for the player to find their way around a new game. You have to be a story writer in order to convey an exciting story over the course of the gameplay. You need to be a marketing expert so that you know how to design your Steam page in detail and beautifully in order to find new players for your game through campaigns or something like that. I could go on with this list forever. It takes a huge skill set as an indie game developer to get a game across the finish line. And learning all that is hard work. Of course, you could also see it as a big advantage. You don't have monotony, there's something to do in all these areas, and that's true. But these opportunities and this variety can quickly become overwhelming. In the end, it's a huge amount of work. And it's never clear whether this hard work will ever pay off. The games industry is highly competitive, and it's very likely that the game you put your heart and soul into will never have a single player. And the feeling of doing everything for nothing is hard on my ego. And perhaps you know this feeling too. As a result, you lose motivation to continue working on your game. What are you doing it for? For no one? Another factor that probably sounds familiar to you is time. Good time management is so important if you want to work as a solo indie game developer, especially if you, like me, also have a full-time job. You work 8 to 9 hours every day. You come home. You might still have to go shopping, do the laundry, clean the apartment, take the pets out, load and unload the dishwasher, spend time with friends and your loved one and your partner. And you also want to sleep for a long time so that you can go back to work the next day well rested. And now you have to somehow find time to learn and apply all these skills for game design. You might also want to set up a gamedev YouTube channel so that you can take some users on your journey to finish the game. And then you should record, edit and upload a video, preferably 3 to 4 times a week so that the YouTube algorithm doesn't forget you and potential players don't jump off. So it's kinda hard to fulfill all these conditions. The last factor I want to cover in this video is creative exhaustion. Of course, you have a vision of what the game should look like in the end. You already have the game logic and the basic idea and know roughly where you want the game to go. But the important question is, what steps are necessary to achieve this? What if the game isn't fun? What do you need to add to compensate for this? The creative process is relentless when developing games on your own. Constantly generating ideas, refining mechanics and implementing designs requires sustained creativity. However, the sustained creative effort can take its toll. Developers may face creative exhaustion, a state in which inspiration wanes and ideas seem elusive. The risk of exhaustion is increased due to the lack of a team to share their creative load. Well, is there a solution to all this? The clear answer is yes, there is a solution. The solution is a golden mix of good time management and a realistic scope. By that I mean the following. Don't start your own survival adventure action game with a base graphic gripping story where the map is bigger than that of GTA 6 and stuff like that. Reduce your scope. Unfortunately, I also set my expectations for my game too high. I saw a new shiny object and thought myself, okay, cool, I'll put that in, it will be fun. and without any rhyme or reason. It makes no sense for that. For example, planting trees is so unnecessary in my game Azaryia. It's no fun either. The feature is just in there because I thought, that's cool if the player can do exactly that. And that's what I mean. This is the best example of how you should approach your game with moderation. I have overdone it. Even though I've reduced the scope of Azaryia a lot in the meantime, I've reduced the map size by about 80%. In the near future I will remove features that are not necessary from the game so that I no longer have to maintain them. In general, I haven't given it enough thought. That's why it's important to emphasize once again, plan your scope appropriately. Of course there will be miscalculations and that's fine. But stay realistic and reduce the scope if you realize the feature doesn't fit in your game concept or is simply not necessary. The second part of the solution is good time management. With good time management, it is possible to keep your goals in mind and schedule time for them. For example, you can take half an hour every day to carefully think through and plan your scope. So that on the weekend, when you have a little more time for yourself and your hobbies, you can make progress much faster than if you sit down at the PC for half an hour every day, every evening to code. I also have a little blue book in which I write down my stories or my ideas for the story or features of my game. And during my journey as a solo game developer, I've learned that even if you plan something out, it doesn't always work out. And that's okay. But as long as you adjust your scope and stay agile. I hope I could get you some input regarding your motivation problems and help you trying to solve them quickly. If you liked the video, then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you do not want to miss any updates about my game Azaryia. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I can't get enough.